Okay, to start off, I'm going to wash my hands in the sink with soap. So I'm going to dry them off using a paper towel. And then I'm going to put on my PPE, which includes a lab coat, gonna button it all the way down. Gonna put on my safety goggles to protect my eyes. I'm wearing closed-toed shoes and pants. And I'm gonna put on fake gloves because I don't have anything to represent gloves. So after that, I'm gonna disinfect the surface with a solution that has ammonia in it. And I'm also gonna wipe it down with a paper towel or a towel. And then I'm gonna assemble my supplies for the streak plating. I have a Bunsen burner, which I'm gonna place to the side so I'm not reaching over it. I have a lighter to light it. I have an inoculation loop using for streaking the plate. I have a marker to write on my petri dish. I have a petri dish with an agar on it and a lid. I have a culture tube with the bacteria in it. I have a biohazard waste container. And yeah. In my incubator, I'm going to use my cabinet. So I start out by labeling my TSA plate. I'm going to label the bottom of it. I'm going to put my full name, the date, my type of media, which is the TSA plate, and the type of bacteria, which is Serratia. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but yeah. And then I'm going to light the Bunsen burner with my lighter. And I'm going to take the inoculation loop, and I'm going to disinfect it over the flame. It turns red, and slowly move it back. And I'm going to flame the top of my culture tube, and I'm going to stick the inoculation loop into it to gather bacteria. And then I'm going to spread on the plate on quadrant 1, making sure the lines are super close together. And then I'm going to sterilize it. And I'm going to go back onto the plate and take bacteria from quadrant 1 and put it in quadrant 2. And I'm going to sterilize it. Then I'm going to take bacteria from quadrant 2 and put it in quadrant 3. And I was supposed to put the lid like this so any bacteria doesn't splash up on me. Close the lid and sterilize it. And I'm going to take bacteria from quadrant 3 and put it in quadrant 4. And each time I'm diluting the bacteria even more. And I'm going to do one last sterilization so I don't contaminate anything with the bacteria. And then I'm going to turn off the Bunsen burner. I'm going to close this lid on the TSA plate. And I'm going to dispose of anything in the biohazard waste, so any pipette tips or anything that I used. And then I'm going to place the TSA plate lid down into the incubator so the bacteria can form. Then I'm going to disinfect the countertop to get rid of any contaminants from the bacteria. I'm going to take off my PPE, so I'm going to take off my gloves and put them in the biohazard. Yeah, gloves go in biohazard waste. And I'm going to take off my lab coat and take off my safety goggles. And I'm going to finish by washing my hands again and then drying them off. Okay, you're going to start out by labeling the bottom of your streak plate. You're going to put your full name, the date, the type of media, which we're using TSA, and the type of bacterial species that we're using. And then to show you how I would do the streak plate, I would start out by sterilizing my inoculation loop over the Bunsen burner and sterilizing the top of the culture tube briefly Then I would take the bacteria from the culture tube and spread it on quadrant 1 very closely. Then I would sterilize the inoculation loop, and then I would spread from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, and then sterilize the inoculation loop, and then bring the bacteria from quadrant 2 to quadrant 3, and sterilize the loop one more time, well, not one more time, and then bring it from 3 to 4, and then sterilize it for one last time. And then I would put the lid on it and put it in the incubator for the bacteria colonies to grow. And then I would hope to attain isolated colonies in quadrant 4.